Hello, so I'm going to show you how to use the photos that you've taken and the color swatches that you've made and put it into Illustrator. So you can work in that one document where you have all your 10 palettes, or you can work in separate documents. It's up to you, whatever feels more comfortable. So I have these here that some of them I think I made into. No, none of them have been saved as outlines. So I'm going to select all of these and go and create outlines, which is a step that you'll need to do. So now notice that each one of these are shapes. So the other thing that you were working on is you were using the Pathfinder tool, which is over here. I'll pull this tool out, and you were combining some of your images into combined shape. So there's this interesting overlap here, so I could go and create, use this tool. So now it is different shapes here, right? But for now, I'm gonna just say no for a moment. So the other thing that you see here is I put in my photograph, right? And you can see the color swatches here. So here we've got these different Pantone numbers. So I want to show you, if I go and make a swatch here, I'm going to hold down the Shift key and make two swatches. I'm going to copy this, copy and paste. Okay, I've got two black swatches here. Put them side by side. So one of them, I am going to use my eyedropper, and I'm going to grab this green from Pantone. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the actual Pantone colors as they are in Illustrator. So if I go to Window and I scroll all the way down, you're going to see Swatch Libraries. And then if you scroll up, you can get color books. And so from color books, you can go and grab some CMYK colors. I mean, some Pantone colors. So I'm not going to grab the CMYK Breakdown ones. I'm going to get the solid coated. So Pantone makes lots of different colors, and they categorize them in different books. So you can see you've got pastels and neons, you've got metallics, and remember, these all relate to inks. And then you have the Pantone CMYK here, which is Pantone broken down into CMY colors, which I will talk about separately. But for right now, you're just going to pick solid coated. So here it's showing me, actually when you first open it up, it probably will show by small icons. So you can go into the hamburger and you can change it to small list view. And then when you do that, you see all the different numbers. So the number for this green, I can put up in the search feature here. I can say 7744. So there it is. It's creating this green for me, okay? So I can put this green on this swatch here. So look at these two colors. They don't look exactly the same, do they? I'm also going to take this particular color and I'm going to show you what it is in a CMYK breakdown. So if I hit the color palette, you can see it's showing me Pantone 7744. And this one, when I click it, it's giving me the CMYK breakdown. So you can see 32.64, 13.51, they're fractions here. So when I click this, and I can either click here to convert it, or I can go up here and hit CMYK, and that will convert it also. So you can see these numbers, 32.28, 15.27, they're different. So if I switch back and forth, you can see they're different percentages. So professionally, when I've been working on a project, if I am working on an extensive project where I'm going to have the same palette that's going to be used over and over again for different aspects of a project, to have these fractions can be challenging. So I might round the numbers up. So it might be 33. Oops, I meant to set 33. This would be 14. This would be 93. And I might eliminate all the black together, because black, when you add that in, it can make it a little muddy. So I might create a bit of a custom color. So this is just easier for people to work from. And then I would create a palette as well. So what we're going to do though is we're going to work with the pure Pantone colors, okay? So again, what we talked about in the past is when I go to print this from a printer, it is going to break it down into CMYK and the colors won't be exact. If I were to be going and printing this job as a 5-color, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors here, as a 5-color print job with the specific inks, I would get this brilliant green. It would be a really pure green because it would have been made specifically from that ink and not a breakdown of the 4 CMYK colors. Okay, now one thing I want you to notice is that some of these Pantone colors are from swatches that we're not going to be able to access in the different programs. So this one 7547, this one 7115, those all are in this palette here that I was showing you. But these ones that have a dash in them, they're from a different palette. They may be from a fabrics palette, and so we're not going to be getting them on the print palette. So in those cases, you will just, for this one, you would just take it and I'm going to make 2 more swatches, copy paste. So for this one, you would grab that, and for this one, you would grab this beige, okay? So for those 2, you would use essentially CMYK Breakdown, okay? All right, so now we're gonna start coloring this in. So I've got these individual shapes here, so I can go and I can pull this pink, and I can pull this green. So remember, for this green, we are going to get rid of this one. We're not going to use that. We're going to use the Pantone color. So now I can go and play with this pink color here, and I can look at the different opacities here. But what I really like about these colors is that they've got this real vibrance to them. And sometimes when you start to play with the opacities, you lose that vibrance. So we're going to rely really much more on using the Pathfinder tool, which I took it off of there, now I'm finding, here it is. So I'm going to create these shapes as Pathfinder tool. So then this, you can see here I've got this separate shape here, and I've got this separate shape here where they overlap. So I'm going to play with that by using the orange color, which actually I haven't put on here right now. So let me go up into the Pantone, and I am going to look for 715. So here's 715. I'm going to paste 2 more color swatches here. So I'm going to make one drag this onto here, and my last one was the 7547. Okay, that looks really dark, doesn't it? Did I do that wrong? 7547. Wow, that's really dark. So let me drag that onto there, which that is just not going to work for me. I'm going to grab from here. So, you know, it's a challenge working with colors. So that's what we're learning from here. So I have these, I still had this selected before, so I've got this orange and this overlap area here. So actually I can just go and take all of these shapes at once, and I can go and create the Pathfinder. So they're all broken up. Part of the reason why I was doing it in pieces is because I could take it in small bites and see where the overlap is, because once I unclick it, you don't see that overlap. And I'm going to ungroup now because these are all connected. So when I ungroup, then I can select the individual pieces, okay? So I'm going to start filling these with color. So I can fill this with this orange. So now I've got this color palette here. So again, I meant to, these are grouped. Why are they on? I'm going to delete this, get rid of that. And so I'm going to put all my color palettes together. So here I have 2 of them that I'm actually using from the swatches, these two. These I have used from the eyedropper. I forgot what eyedropper tool was again. So here you can see if I move around, I actually break the registration, so you want to be careful with that. I've got this little piece in here where they overlap, so I can choose to highlight this little overlap with the new color. Actually, maybe I didn't. They aren't overlapped actually, which I was going to decide not to do that. I can send the P to the back. So if I go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back, because if you remember, I did these two separately with the Pathfinder tool. So I could still move these objects separately. So that is an argument for not doing everything with Pathfinder right away. So remember, you have multiples of these compositions that you can play with, and also you can always do undo. Okay, so you'll just go through and pick these different colors to play with. One of the things that I was thinking I really wanted to play with were some of these negative spaces in here. So if I were to go and put this whole background in here and make it this gray, and Object, Arrange, Send to Back, this gray here, that can show me how some of the, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about my design at the same time I'm talking to you. So I'm looking at these colors on this gray. Do I want that totally in the background of everything, or do I want to break up some of the color areas? And my thought was to break up some of those color areas. So here, this is all this one shape here, but if I want this shape in here, how would I do that? So when I did the Pathfinder tool, I just got these separate shapes, right? So one of the things you can do is go back into the Pathfinder tool, and I can go and put this over top of this negative area. I want to get all that negative area in there. I probably should have it outlined so you can see what I'm doing. And then I can take this shape and this shape and this shape, and I can go back into the Pathfinder tool. Let me see if, sometimes I play with which one is actually going to work well for me. So there I've got that outline. Another thing I'm going to do, Command Z, is one thing I might want to do is just draw a custom shape and just make sure it's to the back, because again, you can see sometimes playing with the Pathfinder tool, it might do more damage than good. So sorry, I'm trying to click on this so I can get the points. So let me undo this for some of you who aren't as familiar with Illustrator. So if I click on a shape and I want to move a point, see that? So you need to click on the outline and then make sure you have one point darkened, okay? So if I click here and I get that to be darkened, then I can move this around, okay? So you might need to add some points. So if you go up to the pen tool, you can see that there's an anchor point addition. So you can add some points. So I'm just going to click points, not articulate what I'm doing exactly until you get these points in here. I'm putting several points in here, and then I'm going to go to the direct selection tool, and I can move these different points around. So I am moving this so that I have all of these points in the background of this area. Okay. And then I'm going to add a few more points, actually, 1, 2, 3 maybe. And then I can go up and move this about. So there's different ways that you can do this. And learning these programs is challenging, but each and you'll find what you're most comfortable with. So I have this shape here now, so I can go, I'm going to zoom out, and I am going to grab my eyedropper tool, and I'm going to make it this bright green. And then what I'm going to do is Object, Arrange, Send to Back. Now it sent it back behind the gray as well, so I could go and send the back gray to the back layer as well. So I like playing with some of these negative shapes here. Let me talk a little bit about managing layers if you're not used to layers. So the Layer tool, I'm not seeing here. If there's any tools that you don't see here, you're going to go up into Window, and you're going to look for that tool. So Layers, I'm going to click on that, and here are my layers. And if you have all these boxes, you can go and hover. See the way it's making that little blue line? Then it incorporates it. So there's my layers. So then you can bounce in and out, and so you can move the Pantone in there again, and you can move the Pathfinder, so you can pull them out if you're using them a lot. So here I have a layer, so I can go and create a new layer by going up here and say New Layer. And so here I can call this my background. Okay. Now notice the way it's red. It's got this red here, right? So whatever is on, oops, I have accidentally, shoot. Okay, so folks, what happened is I started to type something in, and when I'm making a video, it's really annoying, but if I start typing things, it overrides what I'm doing with the video, which is really annoying. And so now I need to get rid of this box, which means I have to stop this again because it's not letting me do it. That interruption. So now I've got this background layer here. So the background layer, anything that's on the background layer will have this red outline, and anything that's on this layer will have a blue one. So if I go and select any of these objects, you see they've got this blue shape around, outline around them. So this background, I want to put this on the background layer. So I'm going to cut this, and all these command keys that I use are up here where I say cut, copy, paste. They're here, so you can go up here, or you can memorize the command keys that are next to it. And so they're different command keys for PCs and Macs. So you can just go and follow these. And the other one I use a lot is to save. You can use Command S, to save something, and those sorts of things. So I have copied it. I'm going to Command V to paste on the red layer. See the way it's red here? So I'm going to move that over here to my box, and then I can drag a layer down. So I've dragged this layer down. Be careful not to land on the layer and then you've dropped it into that layer, which is not what the intention was. So we want to drag it out of there. So I'm just going to do Command Z and shut this and go back and drop it. So I'm not turning that blue, I'm dropping it below. Okay, so then that's nice because I can lock this layer and that background is always there. Another thing is when you're working on your design, you can see all these things sticking out past the margin and you might want to look at them cropped. So one way to deal with that is to, got to get back on the right layer. See the way I'm getting this can't work on there? It's because I'm clicked on the wrong layer. So now I need to be back on the top layer. So I'm going to make a box and I'm going to use my eyedropper to grab the background color. See that? So what it did was it created a box. That's actually a box that I am putting over top of my artwork here. I'm going to copy and paste that and put one over here. I'm going to copy and paste and put one on the bottom and copy paste one on top. Okay, so this way I can see my whole composition. So another thing I can do is take these boxes here and I'm going to cut them. I'm going to again create a new layer. This time it's green. I'm not going to label it this time because I'm going to have a wacky thing and it's going to shut down on me again. So on this layer, I